All right, well, hey everybody, welcome to the new SEO formula. My name's Will Hankey. Appreciate you taking the time to jump on here today. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to maximize your lead flow using some of the latest different strategies that are out there. This is all part of what we call our digital dominance method. There's a lot of pieces to this: SEO, pay-per-click, retargeting, email marketing, social media, all these different things. So today we're talking specifically about the SEO piece of it and how that should play into your overall strategy. Real quick about me, my company is called Red Canoe Media. We are veteran owned, we're family owned. This is my daughter, Amber, who works for me. This is a picture of us getting the Future 50 award for one of the fastest growing businesses in St. Louis. Very excited to have that award and to spend time with my daughter as well, which is always great. We also, probably about 3 weeks ago, we won top St. Louis SEO company, which was pretty exciting to be at the top of that list. So very excited to be there and to be able to help you guys out along the way. If you do have questions at any time, I prefer to be a little bit interactive with my webinars. I'm happy to answer any questions at the end, but if you have any questions in the middle of what I'm going through, go ahead and put those into the chat box area, and I will be happy to answer those. I can see it on my screen here, so I'll make sure to bounce back and forth and watch the chat as well. So if you do have any questions, just put them in there, and I'll do my best to pay attention to both, okay? So does SEO still matter? Well, I mean, if you look at, if you start to look at the different searches, so here's a search on Google for St. Louis plumbers. So we've got these sponsored ads at the top, and then we've got a couple of the pay-per-click ads. Then we've got a map. Then we've got what we call the Google 3-pack. Geez, where's the SEO stuff in it? Well, it's further down the page. It's definitely off of the what we call above the fold or above the scroll. So that seems like it is a problem. However, studies have shown that 71% of the clicks go to these two areas. So they go to the Google 3-pack and to the organic results. So a lot of people are still skipping over the pay-per-click. Pay-per-click's still important, and it's a nice way to get immediate results, immediate targeted traffic to what you want to get done. But it's also important to know that a lot of people are glazing over those ads and going to these two areas. The 3-pack, the Google Maps area, gets a ton of attention, I guess we could call it, a ton of eyeballs on it, especially for mobile devices. So a lot of people that are using mobile specifically use the 3-pack to make their decisions. So if you're not listed in that Google My Business area, you could possibly be missing 60 to 70% of all the people that are searching nowadays. So after that, obviously comes the organic rankings, and this information is different for desktop users, but 71% of the clicks are coming to these two areas and not the pay-per-click area. So yes, SEO definitely does still matter. Getting those rankings are very important. Now here's a screenshot of one of our clients. And I purposely did this screenshot March 1st through April 28th. We're in the middle of this craziness. This business is closed right now. They are not doing work. But their website is generating leads. And here's what's crazy cool about this. Look at the amount of organic traffic that they are getting during the time that they're actually closed. Organic traffic is 74% of all of their traffic, and they are running pay-per-click ads. And we can actually see those in spots 6, 7, and 8. 8 is a cold traffic ad that they're running on Facebook. But look at those numbers. We can add the 1.81%, the 0.1, and the 0.03, and we're still not to 2% of their overall traffic. 74% of their traffic is coming from organic rankings. So pretty cool to see that. So obviously, yes, SEO still matters. You can't rely just on pay-per-click ads and bidding on keywords to get that traffic. By the way, I'm not anti pay-per-click at all. I just see it as a supplement for an already well-ranking website. And when you look at these numbers, you can see why that is the case and why it should be. So what happens when you used to rank fairly well at the top of different searches, but you're sliding on down the page and you're not sure what happened? Well, there's three big changes that have happened. First of all, you can no longer get away with duplicate content. Low quality links pointing back to your site can now hurt you, and you need a real physical office in order to rank in the Google Maps area. Now, all three of these items are related to three updates that Google has implemented, which all happen to be nicknamed after animals that start with P. I'm not sure why or where that came from, but nonetheless, that is the case. And those are the Panda update, the Penguin update, and the Pigeon update. I'm going to assume the next update will be a Peacock update, maybe? I don't know. We shall see. So let's dive into each of these. The Panda update was really around duplicate content. So for most service companies, you're serving an area typically 25 to 50 miles around. And a lot of those businesses, one of the things that they would do is they would write a page of content about their business, right? And then they would put in, some city. And then what they would do is they would duplicate that page and just change the city name. And then they would do it again and do it again. And they would think, well, we've got all this unique content up for all of these different cities. And that used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. Just changing a couple words on a page is you're just going to penalize yourself with having duplicate content. You really have to have unique content for every page on your site, and that includes every city page that you create. So we're in St. Louis, so we might create a page that we want to rank for, Blue Widgets St. Louis. But there are all kinds of towns around St. Louis where we might also want to talk about our blue widgets, and people might search for our blue widgets using some of these town names. So Chesterfield, I'm in Arnold, Kirkwood, all these different cities that are around. You really could build pages for each of those blue widgets in Kirkwood. Where do I find blue widgets in Kirkwood? Something like that, right? But the trick is you have to write unique content for each of those, and mention landmarks, and mention parks, and mention, some history item that happened in that town, those kind of things. So every page is very, very unique. Susie says the ptarmigan is the next P critter, only the P is silent. Okay, I don't know that critter, but that sounds awesome. I'm definitely going to look that up. So that'll throw everybody off too, that it doesn't have the P sound at the beginning. That'd be great. So another thing that web developers were doing is they were building microsites, and this was pretty popular a while back. They would build blog networks, right? And all of these blogs or all of these websites linked to each other and ultimately linked back to a specific website. And what they were doing is Google would see all of these sites linking back to the main site and assume that that site must be the authority on whatever that particular topic was. So building all these other sites and then linking back to that boosted their authority, but it was fake authority, right? So this would not work, along with changing those city names, without changing the content. So obviously, at the end of the day, you need to have unique content from one page to the next. It has to be unique, or you're just going to end up penalizing yourself, really. Next is the Penguin update, and Penguin was all around low quality links. And as I mentioned with the microsites, it used to just be about quantity, right? How many links you had. The more links you had, you're probably going to win and rank really high. Well, the Penguin update, when they released that particular thing, it became more about quality and relevancy of the links and not just quantity of links. Quantity is still important, but they need to be relevant. They need to relate to your particular business in some sort of way. So one of the things you can do, obviously, is look at your link profile or who's linking back to you, find those bad links and try to have those removed from those pages. One of the easiest ways to do this is with the Google Search Console, which used to be called Google Webmaster Tools. There is an area in there where you can actually see who is linking back to your own website, and then reach out to those people and ask them to remove those links if it's not related, if it's from a casino site, you know, or a pharmacy site, or some of these ridiculous things that are out there. Ask to have those removed. There is a disavow option, so you can actually upload a list of links to Google and say, we disavow these. We do not want you to count these links towards our overall link profile. You got to be a little bit careful with doing that. And the way that they want you to do that is first to reach out to that webmaster and request that they remove that link, which a lot of these sites, there's really nobody watching them, right? So you can do that, but they're probably not going to get removed. But disavowing is another way to go about that. You just have to be careful, I think. At the same time, work to diversify two things: where you're getting links from, obviously the types of sites that you're getting links from, and then the anchor text, or what the actual link says. So anchor text could be click here to visit their site, or it could be check out these blue widgets in Missouri. You know, that could be the text, or it could just be your HTTP www.bluewidgetsmissouri.com or whatever. There's a couple different ways, but the anchor text is the actual text that is the link pointing back to your site. And obviously build the better quality, more relevant links to your site. All right, third, you need a real physical office to rank well in Google Maps. This one is kind of a bummer for the work at homes, which of course right now is pretty much everybody, right? But the Pigeon update really addressed local map listings, and it took a major toll on a lot of different things, including anybody who is using a fake address, anybody who is using UPS store, mailbox, etc., virtual offices, those sort of things. They want a really physical address. People that are working from home, but they had their address hidden. So you used to be able to work from home and hide your address and just say, we do business in this particular area. And you can still do some of that, but you have to have your address listed. A lot of business owners that are working from home freak out about this. But I'll say, you know, I've had mine listed probably for the entire 15, 17 years that it's been an option. And in that time, I've had one person show up and he became a client, which is great. But it's not a huge worry to think that somebody's actually going to show up because your address is listed. But you need a real physical address in the city where you want to rank. So what else has changed? Well, old-fashioned SEO is no longer effective. I actually had a conversation this week with a guy who said, yeah, we're going to put white text on a white background at the bottom of our page, fill it with keywords. You know, is that still something we can do? Or he wasn't even asking. He was just telling me he was going to do it. And of course, that is something that Google got onto 10 years ago, right? You know, some of these things, Google's just smart about these little tricks nowadays. You really can't trick the system anymore. It's not worth trying. It's more important to just do the right things in the first place. The other thing is, when one of these major updates come out, the Ptarmigan update, which is going to come out next, uh, if you're trying to game the system and that particular update addresses that thing, you can fall out of the index altogether of Google, or you can lose your rankings in a big way. So why not just do it, the legit way the first time? And then when these updates come out, there's not a whole lot to worry about, which is obviously a good idea. The big thing now really is, as it says here, user experience optimization. So not only optimizing your page so that it ranks well, but when the person gets to the page, that they have the obvious next step, that the phone number is listed, that the navigation sticks to the top. All of these user experience things are very easy for them to get around in your site, understand what your site is about, that sort of stuff. So the new SEO approach really does look at those sort of things. Now, here are some different factors that Google looks at. First of all, the click-through rate, how many times somebody clicks through to your website from Google. When they get to your site, do they scroll? Do they just look at the page and not digest that information? Do they scroll down? Do they click on some links? Do they look around? That kind of stuff, which comes to time on page. How long are they spending on your page? The other thing I'll mention here is there's something called time to long click. And, we talk about bounce rate being somebody who comes to your site, hits that back button nearly immediately. That's a bounce. But time to long click is kind of an interesting concept. And the way it works is this: somebody types in, we'll just stick with blue widgets, right? Blue widgets, St. Louis. They type that in, they click on the first organic result, and they look around, then they hit the back button. Google sees them come back to Google, to that search result again. They see them come back. So then they click on that second result, they look around, they hit the back button. Maybe they're not bouncing, which is, a 3 to 4 second thing. Maybe they look around for a minute or so and then they come back. Google sees them come back to Google again. Then they click on that third result and they don't come back. So Google sees that happen. They also say, okay, maybe that third result answered their question. That was the solution for their search of blue widget St. Louis. So they take that into consideration. If that happens over and over again, that third site might start moving up simply because obviously the information there is better. It's answering the searcher's question. So kind of interesting how all this starts to work together, and some of the things you don't even consider that could be happening are happening kind of behind the scenes, I guess. And then the last thing is the number of citations. A citation is a mention of your business on some other website. Maybe there's a link to your website, maybe not. It could just be your name, address, and phone number, which we refer to as your NAP, name, address, phone number. Very important that whenever you're putting information out on the web about your business, that you always use the same name, address, and phone number. Now, name, pretty easy. Phone number, pretty easy. Address sometimes can get a little murky, right? You could put 123 Main ST one time and 123 Main STREET another time. To Google, that's two different name, address, phone numbers. So it's very important to stay very consistent when you're putting your information on other websites. For example, a chamber that you belong to, or a Kiwanis, or any of these other associations. Maybe there's an association for your industry, you belong to that. There's a meetup page or anything of that sort. Make sure that you're always using this very consistent name, address, phone number on all those. Next is reviews. Obviously, make sure that you have reviews and that you have some sort of process in place to get reviews. And then lastly, relevant links. Obviously, we've talked about that, right? It's not about quantity, but the quality and relevancy of those links. So the new SEO formula is this: figure out the most important keywords that are based on your product or service, your service area, and then there's search volume. So search volume is how many times per month per month is this particular phrase searched, right? There's a couple tools you can use for that. Google Keywords, Google Keyword Tool, WordStream, SpyFu, Google AdWords. Another one that's really coming up right now is Ubersuggest. That's a really good one, ubersuggest.com. It gives you information on how many times something was searched. You can also plug in your competitors and see what keywords they're ranking for, that kind of stuff. Felicia has a question. How do you handle when you work from two different locations? So if they're both physical locations, then you can actually list the address twice in Google My Business. So it would be two different listings in, we'll talk about Google My Business here in a minute, but if you can get mail at both of those addresses and their physical addresses, you can actually add those both as locations if you want to. Okay, good. Okay, also set up a great website with unique pages targeting the keywords that you looked up earlier. So you want, as we mentioned, you want blue widgets, St. Louis, you want blue widgets, Kirkwood, you want blue widgets, Chesterfield. So you want these different pages that are specifically built for those keywords. The same thing is true for services or products. Without going obviously crazy with it, when you do the research, you'll see which ones are getting the decent volume. So, and then optimize your website for user experience. Optimize your website for SEO, and there's two pieces to that. There's the on-site optimization and the off-site optimization. On-site is things you can do on your website to optimize and send better signals to Google. And then off-site is things that you can do on other websites to influence your overall authority. And we'll talk about that. A lot of people are like, well, how can I edit other people's websites? But there are things you can do. And then of course, track your results, very important. So here's an example of a window treatment industry. So you can look through, get all your top keywords, and then add in your city, and now you've got a bunch of work to do, right? You've got some pages. At this point, it comes down to, again, search volume. If I build this page, am I going to get enough visits to it to make it worthwhile at the end of the day? And then track your keywords, plug them into some sort of tool that tracks your position in Google for each of those. We use a tool called Ahrefs, ahrefs.com. But there are others out there. Ubersuggest is one that's free. It does that. Ahrefs is a paid tool, but Ubersuggest is free. But you plug in your keywords, and then it'll start to tell you week over week where you're ranking for those different keywords, along with search volume, traffic that you're getting, that kind of stuff. Very important to also track, the work you're doing to make sure it's worthwhile. All right, so let's talk about on-page SEO, things you can do on your own website to influence the search engines. Obviously, a strong website with decent content or good content on every page and good user experience. So when somebody does land on your page, they're taking time to digest your content, they're engaging with the site, those sort of things. And obviously a great way to do that is to leverage multimedia. So add a video to a page, right? If somebody has to watch a 4-minute video or has the opportunity to watch a 4-minute video, that's going to send a strong signal to Google that this person spent a decent amount of time on this page. Obviously, they were digesting some of the content that this page had. So podcast, another way to do that. But any sort of multimedia will help keep people on the page longer. That also improves your brand exposure, right? Obviously they're going to see your logo the entire time they're there, that kind of stuff. Gary says, how long should videos be? So this is a wishy-washy answer, but however long they need to be. So what you can do is put up a 4-minute video and see if people are watching 3.5 minutes of it. Put up a 10-minute video and see if people are still only watching 3.5 minutes of it. I think if you can put those videos into YouTube and then embed them into your website, YouTube has something called Insights, and they will start to show you where people are dropping off, where people's attention went up and down, that kind of stuff. So it's really involves some testing, but I would start with getting into YouTube Insights and seeing if everybody's falling off after the 3-minute mark. That tells you, maybe we only need to have our videos 3 minutes long because people are dropping off. So hopefully that helps you answer your question. It could be that they are watching an entire 10-minute video or 15-minute video, but really without knowing what that data is, it's hard to say how long should they be. Hopefully that helps. Definitely a page for each of your services. I run into this where somebody has a services page and then they just list out all their services on that page. More important and better use of your time to build out individual pages. So if somebody's looking up widget cleaning St. Louis, there's a page for that, right? I've built a page specifically for that. They're going to land on that page and immediately get their questions answered. So what you don't want to do is have a list of services all on one page and make them go find it. Or even worse, they land on your homepage and have to go search for that particular service. It's better user experience if they just land directly on that page for that thing that they were just looking up. Pages for each of the cities that you serve. Unique content for each of those. We talked about mentioning landmarks and maybe some sort of history event thing, parks, that kind of stuff. Also, embed a map of that particular city. So in Google Maps, you can actually type in, Kirkwood, Missouri, and it will actually give you a map of that location with the little outline of Kirkwood. Then you would embed that into that particular city page, and that would send a signal back to Google about this page must be about Kirkwood, because they even have a map of Kirkwood on this page. So, so that's a really good tip there. Obviously, unique content on every page, keywords in your title, your H1 tags, and some of these things I've talked about in other trainings. You can find our other trainings on redcanoemedia.com. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here on those, but keyword in your title, in your H1, a very well written meta description. And then I mentioned earlier the name, address, phone number. Also put that in the footer of your site so that it's on every page of your site. And that just sends another signal to Google that this is where we're located. This is our address. This is kind of our core citation, if you will. And then blog ongoing and consistently. So very important that you stay consistent with your blogs and that you don't overdo it. So, so I encourage you to blog. However, I don't encourage you to get excited about blogging and writing content and do one a week for 6 weeks and then get bored with it. And then you do one every 3 weeks and then you do one every month or two, right? That huge bell curve, not great for your business. It would be better just to say, okay, I'm going to do one every 2 weeks. And I know that I have enough content to do that for 6 months or something like that. Better to be consistent than ramp way up and then get bored with it and ramp right back down. So staying consistent, very important. Here's a screenshot of our homepage. And the one thing I wanted to show you was what I call my heading tag. And my heading tag, the heading tag on a lot of websites is welcome to our site, or bluewidgets.com, or welcome to Joe's widget service. But what you really should have there are your top keywords. And mine are St. Louis SEO, digital marketing, content, and paid ad experts, right? There's a lot of keywords in there that people are going to be searching for. And I want to rank for those words. So that is going to be my #1 heading for this page. Now, this does apply across pages. So on my internal page about WordPress, my heading is going to be WordPress related keywords, right? So every page has its own heading tags, its own title tags. Here's another example, a company called Sunshine Drapery. So their heading tag is window treatments in St. Louis, serving Missouri and Illinois, because they want to rank for window treatments St. Louis, window treatments Missouri, window treatments Illinois. Those are the top money keywords for them. So that's what their core heading tag is for their homepage. Here's something else. When somebody types in St. Louis draperies, here's a great example. Sure, they're going to show up in the maps because they've optimized their map listing, but they also show up first in organic with their homepage. But check this out. They have a second listing when you search for this, because we built a product page specifically for custom draperies for your St. Louis home. So they're getting a double whammy, maybe even a triple whammy here, I guess. But the nice thing about having these two organic listings is there's only 10, right, on any one search page. Having that second one is pushing one of their competitors off of page one, which is great for them, right? Having two instead of one, having three instead of one, I guess you could say, more chances at eyeballs of the searcher. They're more likely to click on that particular link just because they're showing up more often on the page. Felicia is asking, how long should blog content be? At a minimum, any page on your website really needs to have 350, 400 words on any page on your site at a minimum. For blog related posts, long form content is going to be the winner if it's not fluff. So if it's all really good content, then 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 words is fantastic. That gives the person a lot to read, a lot to ingest, a lot of solutions, and it also keeps them on the page for a long time, right? So that whole time on page thing is playing into this as well. So I need to hire a writer, LOL, yes. Fantastic idea. Yeah, you don't want to put blogs out that are 300, 400, 500, even 600 words. You really want to hit that 1,000 word range or more if you can. Now, at the same time, if there's just not a lot to say about a specific topic, you don't just want to start filling it with fluff. So you got to be a little careful there that you don't do that. One tool that I don't have on here, but one tool you can use is answerthepublic.com. Answer the Public's a pretty cool little tool. You plug in a keyword that you're thinking of, that you're wanting to rank for, or a product or a service or something like that. And Answer the Public will give you a list of what people are asking, prepositions that are being used in searches, versus, so blue widgets versus orange widgets. So all of the stuff that it gives you inside of there are headings that you could use to make a piece of content longer, right? People are also asking about cleaning our blue widgets. So here's some information on that. So using that, a service like that can help you create more content around some sort of keyword. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. All right, off-page SEO, things you can do on other websites. The biggest one here is Google My Business, and that's at google.com/business, of course. So definitely make sure that you have claimed and that you optimize that listing. So go into the info tab and upload your logo, upload pictures, set your hours, set if it's a veteran-owned or a woman-owned business, or other attributes like curbside pickup is big right now. Free parking, handicap access, those sort of things are all attributes you can add about your business that just optimize it even better. Definitely very important. Get lots of citations across the web. Now, this is 7 words that sounds like, yeah, just go get a lot of citations. But in reality, this is a long process, right? Obviously, you can do it with, like I said, chambers that you're in, any industry associations that you're in is a good place to get those. After that, then it comes down to manual hunting to find these different places that you can add your listing to. And there's lots of business listings out there. There's a lot of ways to do this, but I don't want to just mention it in passing that that's one thing you need to go do. There's definitely a lot of work involved in doing that. Build up your online reviews and leverage some sort of a review system to make this process a little bit easier, because we all know getting reviews, not easy. People don't seem to want to do it. And we use Review System Pro. You can actually go to reviews.redcanoemedia.com and get a free review score. Plug in your website or plug in your business name there, and it will actually output a little PDF that tells you here's your overall score, 54%. Here's where we found you on Facebook, we found you on Foursquare, but we didn't find you on Yelp, we didn't find you on Houzz, all these other places. And then it gives you a good place to go start adding in your information about your business and getting people to start leaving reviews on those different platforms. Build authoritative links back to your website from other websites. Again, one line of text there, but another really big task to start to get content and links from other websites. An easy way to do this is looking for guest blogging opportunities, guest blog or blogs that are related to your industry that are taking content from other people. So a lot of times you can submit a piece of content to another blog and they get the free content, and in exchange, they link back to your website. Sometimes in the content, sometimes as a byline, that kind of stuff. But that's a great way to get a link back to your site. Of course, you want to be a little bit picky about which blogs that you get those pieces of content published on, that kind of stuff. There are other ways to do this around influencer marketing, those sorts of things we're not going to go into today. So the secret to getting ranked on the top of Google Maps, a couple of things, really just two. One is citations, so mentions of your business on other websites. And this includes things like, your Facebook profile and Houzz and Yahoo Local and all of those. And then getting reviews for your business. Reviews play a big role in where you are found or whether you are found in that Google 3-pack, which is the Google Maps system. Getting citations can take a lot of forms. Here's the example I mentioned earlier, Sunshine Drapery. So they might get a link from, or a citation from Yelp, of course, their Facebook page, their Google Plus page, but then they could also use some of their vendors, maybe like Hunter Douglas and Levelor. These sites that are that they're selling their products might actually have an area where they can, maybe it's find a dealer or something like that. And then their associations. So in this case, the Window Coverings Association of America. There's an area on there where they can fill out their profile and get a link back to their site. So there are places out there to get these links. It just takes some time to get them and to find them and to engage with the blog owner or the vendor, that kind of stuff. And then of course, use some sort of service that tracks where you're getting links from. As I mentioned earlier, a great place to start with this is your Google Search Console. That will actually give you a list of where links are coming from. And Peggy says Google Plus is dead. You're correct. It is dead. But yeah, don't waste too much time on Google Plus. But having these links are good, but tracking these links is fantastic, because you could get links, somebody could just link to you because they love a blog you wrote or something like that. So tracking those is definitely good. And again, there are tools out there that do that, including Google Search Console. So what do these results have in common? We saw this earlier. Couple things. They've claimed and verified their Google Map listing on Google My Business. No spam in the company name, very important. So what their company name is Sunshine Drapery and Interior Design. That's their official name. Their company name is not Window Treatments, St. Louis, Missouri, Illinois, right? Which is their top keywords. And I see that a lot where businesses try to shove some keywords in there. And what's going to happen is they're going to get flagged. They're going to get kicked out. Then you're worse off than you were had you just put the right business name in the first place. Lots of online reviews. I mean, look at the difference, 31 versus 4. That's a big difference there. Keyword in the title tag. So now we're talking about the organic rankings below or some variation. So you can see this particular search is for St. Louis draperies, and you can see that the keyword, both St. Louis and draperies, is in both of these examples in different ways and different places, but they're both there. So very important to have the keyword in the title tags. Lots of citations with a consistent reference to your name, address, phone number, and what we call a solid link profile. So we've been working with these guys for a long time, building links for them. So they have a lot of links pointing back to their website. So the new SEO formula: build a great website with pages for each service, each city. Use your keywords and geo modifiers. So a geo modifier is location, right, in the title of each page that you want to rank for. Use unique content on every page. Leverage multimedia where you can. It'll enhance the time on page. It'll reduce your bounce rate. Get those online reviews. Get those positive online reviews, right? You can get the negative ones pretty easily. Not that hard to get. Probably not what you want. So getting those positive online reviews, very important. Build your citations. Consistently create content that is updated content on an ongoing basis. And I say updated content because if you do have a blog that gets a little bit of traffic that maybe is 3 or 4 years old, it may be worth updating that piece of content versus writing something new, updating it, adding new information to it, that kind of stuff, and making that piece of content just even stronger is a great way to increase the overall authority of your website. And then, of course, build links back to your site as well. Felicia, sorry for all the questions, but what is the keyword such as certified medium, which is part of the name of my business? So if your official business name includes some keywords, that's fine. But you want to make sure that you're, for the Google My Business listing, that you're using the business name that you registered typically with the state, right? So, so you want to use that name in Google My Business. Now, in your title tags for your website, you want to do some keyword research and find out which ones have the largest search volume, so that, so if it's searched 1,000 times a month, that's probably one that you want to rank for. So you would want to use those in your title tags on your homepage, maybe on that particular service page, that kind of stuff. Peggy said, how do you get Google reviews? I've seen it on your emails. Yeah, so we're using that Review System Pro. And what it does is we plug in, and we do this for our clients as well. We plug in whoever they engaged with over the past week. So today's Friday, right? So today we'll be plugging in anybody that we engaged with in the last week, that we helped with, that we did some work for. We plug it in there, and that system emails these people and say, hey, we hope you liked our service. We would love it if you would leave us a review. And then what it does is it gives them a couple options. So instead of just saying, please go leave us a review on Google, it gives them icons for Google, for Yelp, for Yahoo Local. And I don't know if this is true for my particular one. You give them 3 or 4 options. I don't remember which ones we're giving them to choose from. But what that does is that lets people leave a review on a system that they're familiar with, right? So if it's Facebook, I use Facebook all the time. So they may click on that and go leave us a review. It dumps them straight to the review page for Red Canoe, but they can leave that review on that system. Google is watching all these other review sites. So they're counting all those towards your number of reviews. So it's not that you have to have all of your reviews on Google in order to make Google happy. If you have some on Facebook, or you have some on Avo, right? If you're an attorney, if you're on Yelp or Houzz or something like that, they count those other reviews towards your overall number. But giving the person an option where to leave that review reduces friction for the user. And if they're not comfortable with Google and that's all you're giving them, it's likely you're not going to get a review because they're just not comfortable using that system. But if you give them Yahoo Local, because maybe they have a Yahoo email address, they may be very familiar with that particular platform. Less friction, easier to get that review. So the big way to get reviews really is just ask consistently. And you do not want to incentivize those reviews. So you don't want to say, leave us a review and we'll give you a $25 Applebee's card or something. That would be against the terms of service. It would probably work a lot better, but against Google's terms of service. So last thing I wanted to mention is leverage paid search to identify those high converting keywords. So I did mention pay-per-click earlier on, and I'm not anti-pay-per-click. I think pay-per-click should be a supplement to a page that's already ranking well, both in Google Maps and organic listings. Then you can run some ads to it, and you have another opportunity for eyeballs on that page as well. So get that data, use that paid search information to identify which things people are clicking on, and then optimize your pages to do that as well. All right, if you are interested in chatting a little bit more about your website, I'd love to get on a free strategy session with you and go through your site, talk about your business, talk about your goals, see what you're doing now or not doing now. And I'd be happy to do that. You can schedule that at redcanoemedia.com/strategy, and it'll just dump you over to my calendar. You can pick a time, and I'd be happy to speak with you about it. Okay, any other questions that I did not answer? Any questions about anything that I covered? Put those into the chat. I'll make sure that I am watching all of those as well in here. I want to give everybody a chance to ask anything that they need to ask. While you're plugging those into the chat area, like I said, if you do want to get on a strategy call, I'd be happy to chat with you, and you can do that at redcanoemedia.com/strategy. So, all right, let's see if there's any other questions. I kind of answered them along the way. Let's see if I missed any questions. I do need to go look up a ptarmigan, that's for sure. Let's see. All right, I don't see anything new, so I guess I've answered all your questions. Wow, that was nice of me. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate you taking your time and spending it with me. If you do have any questions, give me a call, 314-514-5SEO, or of course, go to the strategy page and set something up, and we can get those done. So everybody have a great day, a great weekend, and we'll see you on next month's free training. See you guys.